Hello everyone. I've gotten the lambing pens to a point where I can stop now and I still want to do some more work on them, but if one of my sheep suddenly decides to go into labor, they are set up sufficiently to take care of that. I'm going to give you a little bit of information on why I set it up the way I did. Okay, first thing, the door is solid. Because if a sheep sees a way of getting through and it's trying desperately to get out, it can cause itself injury or damage things. So it's a nice solid door. Now the lever on this is really simple. And it's closed. No opening or shutting past this point. So all it is one screw in it and it pivots around that point. Simple, easy, and very cost effective. This is a bumper so that the door doesn't go too far that way. Now for inside, I've got it all the way up there, all the way up there, and all the way up there, all closed in. This side is a little bit lower than the other side, but that means there's a little bit more sunlight in here, which is nice. And if you're wondering why this board is here, it's because the mill felt. I've discovered that when the sheep are lambing, they start scratching. And if they catch the corner of it, they are going to lift this mill felt. Now this area is going to have chopped straw. I used to just use normal straw, but it just gets so horribly messy and matted and everything else. So I've decided to stay away from it, and as long as I can get it, I like getting chopped straw. I've got this set up so I can put the buckets in. Oh, I guess there's one more thing I just want to tell you. These boards that are along this length, they're only held in with like 2 screws. One there and one there. One there and one over there. Reason being, when you're trying to pull up the board so that I can take out the mill felt and give it a good washing and solarization later on, I just want to have to deal with 2 screws to pull the thing out. It just has to keep the board there. Now you can tell this place is a little bit darker, and before I had actually thought of not closing in the bottom part because there's no airflow, but then I thought the chopped straw is going to get in there and I'm going to have a horrible time trying to clean it out, so I just close this in as well. And this one's got its little spot, and the little baseboards keep the sheep from being able to lift the mill felt. And another little thing, unfortunately it's harder to see in here, I've got security cameras and I've checked. Each security camera can see the whole entire bottom of this, and because of how they're angled, you can't even see the shelf, but you can see all the way back to the back of there. So I can see the whole entire lambing bay with that one. And I can see the whole entire lambing bay with this one. And they just look down. And the great thing is, even when it's nighttime and it's dark, these things even work at that time. You can still see what's happening. It is awesome. Well, I'm going to get off to the next thing. Actually, I'll show you why it is that I'm actually going to this point and not extending these all the way across like I was thinking of doing right at this time. It's because I have another project that I need to do, because everything is starting to bud out and I need to get some trees planted. So 1 second, I'll show you. Okay, the security cameras actually come with little solar panels, so they're there. But I am planning to plant my peach tree and my apricot tree and espalier them up against this, which is the barn on the outside. So if you were looking at before, the lambing bays are actually here, the creek feed's here, and the puppies area is there, and that is the far end, one of the other bays. But I have these boards that I salvaged, and they're going to be the sides of the place where I plant everything. I need to take these out, and you can see where the water line is. I've got some piping, so I'm going to actually dig down and put a pipe along there to make sure that no water gets in. But I'm going to put the board on that side of the drip line so I can catch all that water that's coming off of the barn into the watering of the peach and apricot tree. But the overhang will help with, we get a lot of precipitation here, so we get leaf curl. So the plant will be under there. You can see that the side of the barn is actually dry, and that means that the peach tree and the apricot tree will be dry as well. There's some of the pipe bend. The pipe's on the other side of the barn. But 1 second and I'll show you the peach tree and the apricot tree. Okay, here's the trees. So this is actually my peach tree, and it has really, really loved being up against the barn, or I should say the shop. But as you can see, it's starting to bud out, so I really need to get it into the ground. And this is my twisted mulberry. It is going to go over where the figs are. I'm going to do some soil amendment and get that one in there. And this is my plum tree. One of the trees out in the field died, and I have a bunch of other plums over there, so I'm going to put it with that to make sure that it gets nicely pollinated, and I should get lots of plums off of it. I was going to put it up against the barn, but frankly, I want more space for the two trees that really don't like getting wet. And this is my Puget Gold apricot. I had one before and I had it out in the field and it didn't do too well, and unfortunately I lost it. So this one is going up against the barn, and my peach tree is going up against the barn, and my apricot tree is going to go with my my plum tree is going to go with my other plums, and I'm going to have my mulberry out in the field across from the pond with my jujube. So all is good. I better get back to getting some more work done and get out of the rain as well.